Junior year, I was playing at my best, and I tore my shoulder out of place. So I tore all my ligaments besides my bicep and my tricep. Coming off that, it's like, as being an athlete, you're used to being able to do whatever you want at such a high pace and like being able to move and making all these plays, and all of a sudden this is in your way, and that's like a constant fear that's always lurking. Like am I going to be able to do that again? Or am I going to rehurt it?
Last year was my greatest year football-wise. I didn't have the stats I wanted or maybe the highlights I wanted. It was kind of a difficult time in my football career, and I kind of doubted myself.
My coach, he got on me a lot because I wasn't a captain, and I play quarterback, so I have to be real vocal, and I wasn't real vocal. And so that was real tough because I had to learn to get out of my shell around like my teammates.
When I was younger, I used to worry like, will I be good enough for my dad, or like, will he like be happy with me if I didn't have a great game? Growing up, that was always something kind of inside me I didn't really talk about. Am I going to be good enough for him? Because like he's a coach. But
probably one of the biggest challenges for me was like switching teams when I was younger. So I kind of like worked my way back up and like proved myself to everyone kind of. So like it was just kind of like starting fresh all over again.
I think my biggest insecurity is also just being a shy person. And so having to work through that through transferring through 2 different schools, that was a real big challenge, especially playing quarterback.
What challenged me is sometimes I stress myself out too much. With being in like a bunch of clubs in the marketing team and in leadership, and being vice president of the school and having to do stuff right now with graduation, I think that I stress myself out too much.
Performing to the best of your abilities, because you always hold yourself like higher, and like that's how I feel, because I always feel I'm not good enough or I'm not performing as well. And then that I always get in my head.
I've always been one to like kind of hide my emotions, and like I'm not very good at saying I'm sorry or saying thank you and stuff like that, especially like people that care about me and have done stuff for me. And so that's the part where I'm trying to grow right now. My parents will help me.
I've never had a girlfriend, so yeah.
Going out there with high aspirations and like, wow, I need to start these next 2 years, like, or at least try to get on the starting roster in the next 2 years. And if I don't do that, that's always like a fear, like, what if I can't do that? What's going to happen?
You could always get hurt, and maybe the coach revokes your scholarship, maybe he doesn't, like, depending on the injury or something, or fall behind the school and grades aren't cutting it. Nothing's, like given to you. Nothing's like a sure thing, like anything can happen.
Well, I'm going to play football at MIT next year, and so all the way across the country. It's definitely a little bit of fear is creeping into me about just being away from my parents. They've always been there to support me, and my dad's been at every one of my games since I can remember. And then also just the rigor of school. MIT is a whole new beast, so I'm nervous. I've been a good student, but you just never know. It's pretty rigorous. So.
And that was the mindset that really helped me get out of it, is when people are way too afraid to fail, they fear about what will happen to them when they don't succeed. And so once you reach that point when people usually hit rock bottom or they fail, that's the worst it'll be. And so not being afraid to do that from experience, I think that's what really helped me from being able to cope with failure.
I just always like try to find something that just like fires me up, like something that makes me want to go and do like that extra rep, makes me want to go do like that extra sprint. Probably like my main thing is just like finding like what drives you and like what makes you want to do it.
My advice would be kind of like, if you're doubting yourself, you have that you just have that thought process where you're stuck and you don't know what to do. Just take a step back, maybe think out a strategy of what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, how you're going to achieve those goals, and I guess move on from there.